The Islamists in the world are fundamentally against the nation-state concept. And the world order is based on the nation-state concept. The American people prefer the nation-state concept, and the idea that some religious group would try to impose their views across nation states, which is what's taking place, and use terrorism and the killing of innocent men, women, and children to achieve that, is something that it seems to me we ought to be opposed to energetically. And we didn't demonstrate that opposition in Egypt, a terribly important country. And I don't doubt for a minute that the Islamists will try to take and play an outsized role in Syria if they are successful. And so in helping the opposition to Assad, people have to be very careful that they don't end up with something worse than the Assad regime, which is hard to imagine, but possible.
So what's the best strategy? In light of the position we're in, we have the president saying that there is a red line. He says he didn't draw it. It's drawn by the international community. You've got a Congress...
He did draw it.
I'm telling you what he said.
You're kidding. I didn't see that.
He is saying that it's one that's drawn by the international community, by international standards, by Congress, by the American people.
This president has tried to find a way to blame everybody or anybody for everything. And leadership requires that you stand up, take a position, provide clarity, and take responsibility. And I can't imagine him saying that he didn't draw the red line. But he did draw the red line.
In light
we have ears.
In light of where we are.
I've been out in Montana, and I must have missed that.
Okay. In light of where we stand right now, with the fact that Congress is voting on this, debating it, likely to give him authority. If they don't give authority, it seems like he's going to do it anyway. Send those cruise missiles over to Syria. Is there any way that the United States can sort of regain stature, credibility, do anything at this point? Because it almost seems like we're a little boxed in because our president has said we're going to do this.
There's no question but that the leadership, or the lack of leadership to be more precise, has driven our country into a cul-de-sac, and that's not a good place to be. Is it possible to come out of it? Sure. We have a wonderful country, and if the president would bring in good advisors and sit down and think through where he is and get down to bedrock, to concrete, and know where he is, and then decide that he's willing to make a decision. And either the decision is to not do something. If he's unwilling to do anything that's going to change the regime, I think he's probably better off doing nothing and accepting the burden that falls on us from all of his prior statements. If he decides he wants to change the regime because he thinks the killing of 100,000 people and the use of chemical weapons is something that is damaging and harmful to our country and to the world, I think the American people would follow him.